Leonardo da Vinci had no formal education in science, engineering, or anatomy. And yet he designed flying machines 400 years before the first aircraft. He mapped the human body before modern medicine existed. He understood fluid dynamics before it was a field. This is not a story about genius. It's a story about how he learned to see. As a young man, he wasn't shaped by the academic structures that defined knowledge at the time. He didn't learn through rigid systems of memorization or formal logic in the way scholars did. Instead, he learned through direct engagement, watching, testing, questioning. He would look at something simple, a shadow moving across a surface, the way light changed as the day progressed, and stay with it longer than most people would consider useful. Because to him, understanding required time. That difference mattered, because while others were being taught what to think, he was learning how to see. He would spend long periods observing movement, not in the abstract but in detail. Water flowing around obstacles, forming patterns that repeated under different conditions. He noticed how currents split and rejoined, how turbulence formed, how pressure redirected motion. He didn't just watch once, he returned to the same observations again and again, comparing, refining, testing what he thought he understood. He would sketch what he saw, then compare it against reality, adjusting lines and assumptions until the drawing reflected not just appearance, but behavior. These weren't casual observations. They were structured studies. Because if movement followed patterns, then those patterns could be understood. And if they could be understood, they could be applied somewhere else. That same attention extended to the human body. Leonardo didn't approach anatomy as a fixed set of parts. He approached it as a system in motion. He dissected bodies carefully, documenting not just what was there, but how everything interacted. Muscles didn't simply exist, they pulled, resisted, balanced. Bones didn't just support, they acted as levers transferring force. He mapped how the hand moved, how the shoulder rotated, how weight shifted through the body when someone walked. He compared bodies, noted variation, refined his understanding with each new observation. And as he drew these structures, something else became clear. The body wasn't random. It was organized. Each part existed in relation to something else, which meant movement itself could be understood as a chain of cause and effect. That understanding changed how he painted. Because once you know how the body actually moves, you stop guessing. You stop approximating form. You begin to construct it. Every figure he painted carried that knowledge beneath the surface. Subtle shifts in posture, tension in muscles, balance in composition. But beyond that, he began to understand something deeper about representation itself. That realism wasn't about copying what you saw. It was about understanding what created it. This is why his work feels different. Not just more detailed, but more grounded. Because it is built on underlying structure. And once that idea takes hold, it spreads. Because if the body follows structure, then so does everything else. But he didn't stop there, because the same thinking applied beyond the body. If movement could be broken down into systems, then systems could be recreated. His notebooks show this transition clearly. Pages filled with sketches of gears, pulleys, rotating mechanisms. Studies of how force moved through connected parts. He didn't draw these casually. He refined them, testing how changes in one part affected the whole. He was trying to understand something fundamental. How motion travels through a system. If one part moves, how does that affect the next? Where is energy lost? Where is it transferred? How can it be controlled? These are not artistic questions. They are engineering questions. And yet he approached them with the same mindset. Observation first, understanding second, application last. One of the most striking examples was flight. Leonardo didn't treat flying as an impossible idea. He treated it as a problem of mechanics. Birds could do it, which meant it was not forbidden, it was unexplained. So he studied them. Wing movement, air resistance, lift. He watched how birds adjusted midair, how subtle changes in angle altered direction and speed. He sketched machines based on those observations, not perfect, not fully functional by modern standards, but grounded in real analysis. He tested different wing shapes, different mechanisms, trying to translate natural motion into controlled mechanical movement. He was not imagining fantasy. He was extending a system beyond its current application. The same approach appeared in his work with water. He designed canals, studied flow, explored how water could be redirected for transport and power. He mapped currents, analyzed pressure, considered how natural systems could be adapted for human use. Again, not as isolated ideas, but as systems interacting with each other. And this is where his thinking becomes difficult to contain, because it didn't belong to one field. He moved from anatomy to engineering, from painting to mechanics, from observation to design. Not by changing focus, but by following connections. His notebooks reflect this constantly shifting attention. Pages of anatomical sketches followed by mechanical diagrams, followed by studies of light and shadow. There is no clear separation, because for him there wasn't one. Everything informed everything else, and that created a different kind of thinking. Not linear, but interconnected. But there was a limitation, not in his thinking, but in the world around him. The materials, the tools, the precision required to build his designs simply didn't exist yet, which meant many of his ideas remained on paper. Not because they were wrong, but because the world that could support them wasn't ready. So his work remained unfinished, not incomplete, but unrealized. And that distinction matters, because unfinished work suggests failure, but unrealized work suggests something else entirely. It suggests that the idea itself was ahead of the system required to bring it into reality. Over time, those systems changed. Materials improved. Engineering became more precise. Scientific understanding expanded. And gradually, the kinds of ideas Leonardo had explored began to appear again. Not copied directly, but rediscovered. Leonardo didn't build the future. He revealed the system that would eventually make it possible. Sounds fake? It's history. Subscribe for more real history that sounds fake.